Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coffee and Contemplation brought to you by Spotlight Recovery. It is April 29th. We've got a neat reflection today, is good perspective on it. We're talked about self-doubt fosters possessiveness. So this is for all you codependents out there, aka me, or sex and love addicts. There's just some good stuff in here. Let's go. All right, April 29th. Love between two people is such a precious thing. It is not a possession. I no longer need to possess to complete myself. True love becomes my freedom. By Angela L. Wozniak. Self-doubt fosters possessiveness. When we lack confidence in our own capabilities, when we fear we don't measure up as women, mothers, lovers, employees, we cling to old behavior, maybe to unhealthy habits, perhaps to another person. We can't find our completion in another person because that person changes and moves away from our center. Then we feel lost once again. Completion of the self accompanies our spiritual progress. As our awareness of the reality of our higher power's caring role is heightened, we find peace. We trust that we are becoming all that we need to be. We need only have faith in our connection to that higher power. We can let that faith possess us and will never need to possess someone else. God's love is ours, every moment. Recognition is all that's asked of us. Acceptance of this ever-present love will make us whole, and self-doubt will diminish. Clinging to other people traps us as much as them, and all growth is hampered, ours and theirs. Freedom to live, to grow, to experience my full capabilities is as close as my faith. I will cling only to that and discover the love that's truly in my heart and the hearts of my loved ones. This reflection is from Each Day a New Beginning, Daily Meditations for Women. Yeah, I really like this one a lot. And so obviously you don't have to identify as a woman to identify with what they're talking about in this. It's just the examples, right? But yeah, I just really like these topics and just the way that they point this out and talk about it. Just because that codependency it can be pretty synonymous with addiction. That's a lot of people who suffer with addiction also suffer with codependency. That or like a BPD, right? Borderline personality disorder. Codependency is a really strong one. And so just the basic connection of it with addiction, so much of addiction, like a great way to frame it is I am looking for something outside of me to fix what is inside of me, right? So be that a substance, people, some other kind of behavior, whatever it is, I'm just looking for that outward fix to fix and do the healing in here, So that's a really common one with addicts is then turning that into people. I'm looking for that next partner, somebody I'm attracted to. You please fix me. You give me all the things that I don't feel about myself. You give those to me. So give me love and confidence and compliments and take care of me. All this, it can, and it's all murky. So it can be back and forth between like ego boosting and self-esteem feeding. But it's the same behavior of no matter what it is, I'm just looking for something outside of me to fix what's inside of me. So that's a really common one. And then also too, it's really common and happens really quickly for people when they come into early recovery. And that's why there's all these warnings and all this language around like not getting into a serious relationship in your first year of recovery. Then people even talk about not even dating, not even sex, like being abstinent, just things to really look at because we're giving up that drug, yet we still have that void. We still have all this work inside us that we need to do, and that's obviously not going to be healed and fixed overnight. So therefore, it is really easy and really natural for us then to replace that substance with a new person, especially a pretty person. And it's also a great way to stay distracted and to still get an isolating behavior, right? Which is you're isolating with them now. So the two of us, and let's go and hide away from the world and things we have to do and pretend it doesn't exist, So all those behaviors that just really easily can transfer over. And the last piece with it typically too is because relationships societally are supported, are celebrated. Oh, who are you dating right now? Who are you with? So when you're doing that with somebody, you're going to get a lot less negative feedback and resistance from people as opposed to if you were still drinking or using or something. So if you say, oh yeah, I'm with this person or whatever, oh, that's so great. Good for you guys. I just want to see you happy. So you're going to get even more of this outside positive feedback and reinforcement that what you're doing is good or what you're doing is okay. And there's a good chance it can really not be. And it's, especially when you're in it, and then also being with this person then gives you all the feel-good chemicals that you either were getting from drugs or were being shut down before because you were always so intoxicated. So then you have all of that stuff going on too. You know, there's a lot of natural things that can happen here that are what can make it a slippery slope and where it can be dangerous. Or then where it can, and the dangerous parts of it then can be, stretching out into these forms of codependency, or just with all these perspectives that we're talking about today, right? So then with that first line in this, and that's why I read that line and I'm like, boom, done. We're doing this reflection. Like, it stood out for me so much because that line describes this so well. Self-doubt fosters possessiveness. So we now take this previous example that we were just talking about of the relationship and the person and the chemicals and the pinging and all that shit. So now what happens when you think that person may leave? Right? Oh, God. Just that immediate panic, fear. Oh, holy shit. Oh, my God. What am I going to do? So, possessiveness. Possession. Grab on. Hang on. Do whatever you can to get them to stick around because you don't want to lose all of these things. You know, that's another, too, of why I'm resonating with this so much, too, is because I totally did this in a relationship last year, and it was a hard breakup, and this is absolutely what I was doing. And not only until did I come out of the relationship did that like fog lift, and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was doing so much of that. You know, again, looking for the person to fill the void, to give me like fix these insecurities, worried about them leaving. So possessive, right? So that direct connection. Self-doubt fosters possessiveness. I have these insecurities. I have these feelings where it talks about in this reflection. I don't measure up, right? As a partner, a parent, lover, employee, whatever it is, I don't measure up. But this person thinks I do, so they're nuts or blind or they're missing something. But who cares? They're missing it. The point is they're here. They're telling me I measure up with these things, so they can't leave me now because I need them to keep telling me that I measure up to these things. Does this make sense? Does this sound familiar? Like, this is very common human behavior. I see it a lot. I don't know if it's necessarily addict thing or not on who does it worse or takes it farther. Addicts at least do it a lot more commonly. I know that much. So anyway, so that's how all of this stuff works. That's my perspective on it. That's my experience on it. So I hope that makes sense. So what's great about this and this reflection is just that knowing and understanding this then is what gives us this solution to not be like this, right? So if self-doubt fosters possessiveness and I don't want to be like, any of this, then I need to start by doing that work on myself. If I don't want to be so possessive on others, then I need to work on all the internal things that are telling me I need somebody else in order to fix or to feel better. I need to do that work. And therefore, as I do, my possessiveness will lessen and I will let go more because I don't need them to fix these things anymore or fill these voids, right? You're removing that core root, just this core like value and feeling I'm trying to find the right word here, just this core piece behind the possessiveness and behind the insecurity. So by doing that, you indirectly are going to be less possessive and clingy and obsessive with other people, because you don't need them to be filling these voids, because you're doing that work yourself with you. And then what it talks about throughout the rest of the reflection is then God, you and God, the relationship with a higher power. You can take or leave that one. The reflections have been a little gaudy lately, so I don't want to overdo it. I have personally really liked that concept of spirituality with this, and having that other form of a relationship, just in the sense of something else that is loving me and looking out for me and taking care of me. So I know that something is there that's got my back, so I can keep doing this work on myself. And it's very different than like a physical person whom is there and attractive and all this other stuff. That feeling is definitely different. So I know it's not pinging those same, neurotransmitters or whatever as like a direct relationship with a human being is. But I like those. So I like those points. I like that they talk about it. That is something that helped me and continues to help me find solace as I'm going through and learning about this process. What else are they talking about here? We've got a lot of really good points covered. I just want to see if I haven't missed anything else. You know what? I just like the end of, in this first paragraph, that ending point of we can't find our completion in another person because that person changes and moves away, or like it's just because life changes, so it's the same with them as with the God thing, where like you can't, if you're looking for a higher power, you can't make it something that can go away. It's like, oh, my children, I'm sorry, that's just not going to work. My partner, whatever, like it's, you never know. Life's gonna life. You have no idea what's going to happen. And so you can't be looking for security in something that can be taken away or removed. And with other people, that's probably the most common or easiest thing that can be taken away or removed, So you're just setting yourself up for failure and adding this risk. And then you're involving another person in your own pain and suffering too. So now all of these feelings you have, they're not even about you or just connected with you anymore. They're now outstretched to somebody else. So that's just not fair. It's just doing more harm and damage. I'm just taking a skim here through the rest of it just to see if there's anything else we want to cover here. No, I'm getting two in my head now about silently making a video whilst reading. That's what's going on here. Yeah. I just 1, 2, 3, third paragraph down after the quote, clinging to other people traps us as much as them, and all growth is hampered, ours and theirs. I just think that's a good point. I like how they word that. I like how they say that. It's synonymous with, I don't know if you've heard the language in recovery about addicts. We don't get into relationships. We take hostages. That's another pretty common one and pretty powerful that I've seen too, and definitely been guilty of, for sure. Again, it's from the possessive place, the fear place. Like, yeah, no, that's good. I'm gonna wrap up on this. I think we covered some really good points in this video earlier on. So yeah, that's what stood out for me in that reflection. I just think it's a really good topic. It's an important one to know and to think about for us as addicts, and especially to be doing that work if we're in early recovery, just doing that work on ourselves in general. So please, down in the comments, what stands out for you? What did you think about this reflection today and the topic and the points that we were talking about? Would love to see those comments, and the rest of the YouTube things help us out as well, liking, sharing, and subscribing if you liked this video. I do private recovery coaching with folks, and As I shared, I have a lot of experience on this stuff, and this one specifically. So please, if these are points of contention for you, you're wanting to do some work and improvement around this for yourself and in your recovery, then please reach out to me. My contact info is in the description. I'd be happy to chat with you and see if there's a way that I can help you work on this, on lessening that self-doubt to then lessen that possessiveness. I would love to hear from you. While you're there in the description, there's a bunch of other ways that Spotlight Recovery can support you. We have a bunch of free resources in there, and there's a bunch of ways that you can support us too, so we can just keep getting this message out there further to help more people. Okay, so please take a moment and read through it and check it all out. We'd really appreciate it. But until then, thank you for stopping by and enjoying the video today. Wishing you a blessed 24 in your recovery. Being a little more self-confident and a little less possessive. Get out there, go do it. I know you can, and we'll see you again tomorrow.